I hired an escort for my best friend's wedding, but now she won't stop calling. When she started hanging out with me for free, I was confused. When I asked, she said you were the only one who treated me like a person. I'm Dave, 29M. I've been single for almost 7 years now, and honestly, I prefer it that way. My job takes a lot of my time and energy, and at the end of the day, I just want to be alone. I'm not the type who needs someone else around all the time. When I meet new people, I'm pretty reserved until I get to know them well. Some people call it being cold, but that's just how I am. My family doesn't understand this. Every time we get together for holidays or birthdays, they ask about my dating life. My younger brother Mark, 27M, got married 3 years ago and already has 2 kids. My parents love bringing this up whenever they can. It's the same with my friends. They think there's something wrong with me because I don't date. Last month, my best friend since middle school, Jake, 29M, got married. I was his best man. 2 months before the wedding, Jake told me he wanted to set me up with one of his fiancée's friends for the wedding. I recognized her name immediately. They had tried to set me up with her before, and I had said no. I don't want to be set up with anyone, especially not someone they've already tried to match me with. Jake wouldn't drop it. He kept saying how I needed to bring someone to the wedding. He thought it would look weird if I showed up alone as the best man. I told him I would figure something out. I knew if I went alone, I'd face questions from everyone there about why I was single. I needed a simple solution. That's when I had the idea to hire an escort. I just needed someone to accompany me for the weekend, nothing more. I found an agency online with good reviews and made the arrangements. I was clear about what I wanted, just someone to attend a wedding with me, no other services. The escort they matched me with called herself Nina, 27F. When I met her the day before the wedding for coffee to go over our plan, I was surprised. She was gorgeous, taller than me, I'm 5 feet 7 inches, and she was about 5 feet 9 inches in heels, and had this bubbly personality that was the complete opposite of mine. We came up with a story about how we met. She was a friend from my classic car restoration group. I do actually restore classic cars, so I could talk about it naturally if anyone asked. The wedding weekend went better than expected. Nina was professional and fit in perfectly. She chatted with my friends and family, danced at the reception, and everyone seemed to like her. We made small talk with the other guests, and no one suspected anything. At the end of the wedding, I paid her the agreed amount plus a good tip because she had done a great job. We said goodbye, and I thought that was the end of it. About 3 weeks later, Nina texted me. She asked what I was doing that weekend. I was surprised to hear from her but told her I was going on a mountain road drive with my car club. These are casual drives on scenic routes that we do once a month. She asked if she could come along. I was confused. I made it clear that I wasn't looking to hire an escort for a car club event. Nina quickly explained that she wasn't asking to be hired, she wanted to come along for free, just for fun. This didn't make sense to me. Why would she want to hang out without being paid? But I found myself saying yes anyway. The drive went well. Nina seemed genuinely interested in the cars and got along with the other members. She even knew some things about engines that surprised me. When the drive was over, I expected us to part ways again, but she asked for my number so we could stay in touch. Since then, Nina has been texting me regularly. She calls in the evenings just to talk. We've gone to movies, gotten dinner, and even just hung out at my place watching TV. She's come to 3 more car club events. All of this happened without me paying her anything. I don't understand what's going on. Is this some tactic escorts use to keep clients coming back? Is she in some kind of trouble and needs help but doesn't want to ask directly? I can't imagine she actually likes spending time with me. I'm not the most exciting person, and I'm shorter than her. We're total opposites in terms of personality. My job actually made me start seeing a therapist back in February. I lost 2 colleagues in a car accident in January, and my boss noticed I was back to normal the very next day. He thought this wasn't healthy, so he signed me up for therapy through the company. I go twice a month during work hours. I don't really believe in therapy, and I told the therapist this in our first session. Most sessions are just him asking basic questions, and me giving short answers. Last week, I mentioned the situation with Nina to my therapist. He suggested that maybe Nina actually likes me romantically. I laughed it off. There's no way someone like her would be interested in someone like me. She's outgoing and beautiful, while I'm quiet and average looking at best. So I dismissed that idea completely. For those wondering why I didn't just go to the wedding alone, Jake really wanted me to bring someone. The alternative was being set up with someone I already turned down once, which would have been awkward. As for the car club, it's just a group of regular people who like working on cars. Nothing fancy or indicating wealth. And about the height thing, I'm not insecure about it, just stating facts. Most couples I see have the guy being taller than the girl. So what's going on here? Why would an escort want to spend time with a client for free? I'm genuinely confused about her motives and what I should do next. Update 1. Thanks to everyone who responded to my original post. Many of you suggested Nina might actually like me, while others warned me to be careful about potential scams or hidden motives. I decided to take some time to think about the situation more carefully. First, I should clarify a few things based on your comments. I'm not rich, just middle class with a steady job. I don't have some secret wealth that Nina might be after. My car hobby isn't expensive either. I work on older, affordable models and do most of the work myself. About my personality, I'm cautious around new people because of something that happened years ago. I don't like showing vulnerability, especially around people I don't know well. Only Jake has seen that side of me. This doesn't mean I'm rude or completely emotionless, I just keep things surface level with most people. Some of you suggested I might be aromantic. I've never thought about that before, but it's possible. I dated in college because that's what everyone did, but I never enjoyed the whole process. I stopped dating at 23 because I realized I was doing it to meet others' expectations, not because I wanted to. Over the past 2 weeks, Nina and I have continued hanging out. During one of our conversations, I finally asked her about her work. She told me she hadn't worked as an escort since December, almost 8 months ago. She started escorting during the pandemic after losing her waitressing job. She needed money for nursing school and saw it as a temporary solution. Nina graduated from nursing school in December and now works as a pediatric nurse at the local children's hospital. When I asked why she took the job to accompany me to the wedding if she wasn't escorting anymore, she explained that the agency had called her about a simple weekend job with good pay, and she could use the extra money for a vacation she was planning. She also said she almost never slept with clients when she was escorting. She mostly provided companionship for events and dinners. I believe what she told me. It's her past, and it's not my business to judge. She didn't press me about my past when I mentioned I don't open up easily, so I extended her the same courtesy. After our conversation, I started paying more attention to our interactions without the escort label clouding my judgment. I realized several things I had missed. Over the past few months, we've been doing very everyday, couple-like activities, watching movies at my place, getting takeout food, even mini-golfing with my niece and nephew once. She always gives me a quick kiss on the cheek when we say goodbye, something that's been happening for at least a month now. I had assumed she was just being friendly, but now I'm not so sure. The more I thought about it, the more obvious it seemed. There was no professional or financial reason for her to spend time with me. She was choosing to do it. This past Friday, Nina came over to my place. We smoked some weed, nothing strong, just enough to relax, and decided to watch The Lion King. During the movie, right before the stampede scene, Nina got quiet. She moved closer and put her head on my shoulder. She pulled her blanket over both of us and stayed like that for the rest of the movie. When the credits started rolling, she didn't move away. Something clicked in my head, and I decided to take a chance. I turned slightly and kissed the top of her head. She looked up at me, smiled, and kissed me. One thing led to another, and we ended up spending the night together. The next morning, we had a long talk. Nina told me she had genuinely enjoyed the wedding weekend and didn't feel like she was working. That's why she reached out afterward. She wanted to see me again. She said her feelings developed gradually as we spent more time together. What surprised me most was when she mentioned specific things I did that she appreciated. Giving her my jacket when it got cold during a car meet, opening doors for her, listening when she talked about her work. To me, these were just basic manners, but Nina explained that many men she met through escorting treated her as an object, not a person. She also revealed that when she worked as an escort, she lost several friends who judged her for it. Dating was nearly impossible because men either fetishized her job or couldn't handle her past. She felt isolated except for a few friends who were also escorts. When she finished nursing school and stopped escorting, she wanted to start fresh. She saw me as someone who had treated her with respect even when he was technically a client. That's why she wanted to keep seeing me. Nina said she feels calm around me. My quiet nature doesn't bother her, it actually balances her more energetic personality. She even likes that I'm shorter than her because previous boyfriends had made her feel self-conscious about her height. I told Nina that I liked her too, but warned her that I'm not good at relationships. My reserved nature and discomfort with vulnerability might make me difficult to be with. Nina dismissed my concerns immediately, calling me stupid for thinking that would push her away. We agreed that formally dating doesn't make sense since we've essentially been doing that for months already. So just like that, we became a couple. Update 2. The past 6 weeks with Nina have been a completely new experience for me. I'm still adjusting to being in a relationship after so many years of being alone, but things are going surprisingly well. The first big change is having someone regularly stay at my place. Nina sleeps over 3 or 4 nights a week, depending on our work schedules. She works 12-hour shifts at the children's hospital, while I have a more standard 9-to-5 job. Despite the scheduling challenges, we make it work. Nina is much more affectionate and expressive than anyone I've been with before. She's constantly seeking physical contact, holding my hand, hugging me from behind when I'm making coffee, or curling up next to me on the couch. At first, this was overwhelming, but I'm getting used to it. I even find myself reaching for her hand now without thinking about it. One morning, I woke up to find Nina ironing my shirt for an important meeting. She had also made coffee and packed me lunch. When I asked why she did all that, she just shrugged and said she wanted to. No one has ever done those kinds of things for me before. Another surprising development is how our social circles have merged. Last month, Nina introduced me to some of her friends from nursing school. Later, she also introduced me to 2 women who used to work as escorts with her. They were warm and welcoming, treating me like an old friend rather than a stranger. One of them told me they had been hearing about me for months and were happy Nina had finally made her move. I've introduced Nina to my family and friends as well. Their reaction was unexpected. They laughed and said they had assumed we were already dating when they met her at Jake's wedding. My mother even mentioned that Nina was the first woman I'd brought to a family dinner in years. Jake was particularly smug when I told him about Nina and me. He claimed he knew there was a connection at his wedding, though he obviously had no idea about our initial arrangement. I let him believe he had unintentionally played matchmaker. Not everything has been smooth sailing, though. Last week, Nina ran into a former client while we were shopping at the mall. The man approached her and made some inappropriate comments, clearly not realizing I was with her. Nina froze, and I could see she was uncomfortable. Before I could intervene, the man noticed me and asked Nina if I was a job too. I stepped between them and told him to leave. He laughed but eventually walked away. Nina was quiet for the rest of our shopping trip. Later that night, she broke down and told me she was worried this would keep happening, that her past would always find ways to disrupt our present. I assured her that I don't care about her past or what others think. I only care about who she is now. This seemed to help, but I know the incident shook her confidence in our relationship. Another challenge has been my own discomfort with emotional intimacy. Last week, Nina told me she loves me. I wasn't prepared for it and didn't know how to respond. Instead of saying anything, I just kissed her and changed the subject. I could tell she was disappointed, but she didn't push the issue. The next day, Nina told me she understands I'm not ready to say those words yet, and she doesn't want me to say them until I truly mean them. She's being patient with me, which I appreciate. Despite these challenges, our relationship continues to grow stronger. Nina has even started keeping some of her things at my place: clothes, toiletries, a spare phone charger. My apartment, which has always been my private space, is gradually becoming ours. Update 3, it's been 3 months since my last update, and I wanted to share how things have progressed with Nina and me. We've now been together for about 5 months total. 2 months ago, Nina's lease ended, and we decided she would move in with me. This was a big step for someone who valued his alone time as much as I did, but it felt right. We converted my home office into a dual-purpose room with space for her nursing books and continuing education materials. Living together has been an adjustment, but not in the ways I expected. The biggest challenge hasn't been lack of space or privacy, it's been learning to communicate better. Nina is direct about her needs and feelings, while I tend to keep things to myself until they become problems. Last month, this led to our first major argument. Nina had been working extra shifts covering for a colleague on maternity leave. She was exhausted but kept taking on more responsibilities at home too. I noticed but didn't say anything, thinking she would ask for help if she needed it. One evening, she snapped at me for not helping more. We had a tense conversation where she pointed out that she couldn't read my mind, and I needed to be more open about what I was thinking. She was right. I've spent so many years keeping people at a distance that I don't know how to let someone in completely. Nina has been teaching me how to express myself better, even when it's uncomfortable. We've developed a routine that works for us. On her days off, Nina often joins me at car restoration meetups. She's learned a lot about engines and bodywork, and the other members have accepted her as part of the group. On my free weekends, I sometimes accompany her to lunch with her nursing colleagues or her former escort friends, who have become some of the most genuine people I know. Speaking of friends, Jake and his wife had us over for dinner last week. They were surprised by how comfortable Nina and I are together. Jake pulled me aside and admitted he never thought he'd see me in a serious relationship. He joked that if he had known hiring an escort would lead to this, he would have suggested it years ago. If only he knew that was exactly what happened. My family has embraced Nina completely. My brother's kids adore her, and she's great with them. My parents have stopped making comments about my single status, though my mother occasionally drops hints about grandchildren. Nina handles these comments with grace, neither encouraging nor discouraging them. As for Nina's past, it rarely comes up now. We've run into former clients twice more, but Nina has become better at handling these encounters. She either ignores them completely or introduces me as her boyfriend without explanation or apology. Her confidence in these situations has grown considerably. The biggest development came 2 weeks ago. Nina and I were driving back from a weekend trip to the mountains when I pulled over at a scenic overlook. We sat on the hood of my car, watching the sunset. Without planning or overthinking it, I told Nina I loved her. The words came out naturally, without pressure or hesitation. Nina cried and said she loved me too, though she had known that for much longer. If someone had told me a year ago that hiring an escort for a wedding would lead to the most meaningful relationship of my life, I would have laughed. But here we are. Nina and I are different in many ways. She's outgoing while I'm reserved, she's emotional while I'm logical, but somehow, we balance each other. I'm still learning how to be a good partner, and I still have moments where I retreat into my shell. But Nina understands me better than anyone ever has, and she gives me space when I need it. In return, I'm learning to be more open and present for her. I don't know what the future holds for us, but for the first time in my adult life, I'm actually looking forward to finding out. Thank you to everyone who encouraged me to see what was right in front of me. You were right. Now let's move to the next story. Story 2. My parents offered to pay for my college but with strict conditions. I refused and pursued my dream. Now they want to control my baby's future. I, 32F, have been struggling with my relationship with my parents, 60s MF, and sister Patricia, 35F, for years, mainly due to my career choice and financial decisions. To understand the current situation, I need to go back to my high school days. Growing up, our family always appeared perfect from the outside. My dad was a successful accountant, and my mom was a respected high school principal. They were pillars of our community, involved in local charities and our church. Patricia and I were expected to maintain this image of the perfect family. When I was 16 and Patricia was 19, our parents sat us down for what they called a family meeting. These meetings were usually reserved for big announcements or serious discussions. Patricia was already in her first year of college, having started her pre-med track. I remember feeling nervous, wondering what this could be about. Our parents revealed that they had been saving for our college education since we were born. They had substantial college funds for both of us, which was a relief because I had been worrying about how to pay for college. However, the relief was short-lived as they began listing the conditions attached to accessing these funds. To get our college fully paid for 4 years, we had to attend a state school, maintain a 3.5 GPA, allow them access to our grades each semester, stay out of any legal trouble, and they had to approve our majors. Their reasoning was that they didn't work hard and save money for years just for us to waste it on a useless degree. They also promised a monthly allowance if we agreed to these terms. Patricia, already in college and thriving in her pre-med program, quickly agreed. She had always been the golden child, effortlessly meeting our parents' expectations. I, on the other hand, felt a sense of dread. I had always been more creative, more of a dreamer. While I excelled in my English and art classes, I struggled with math and science. At the time, not knowing what else to do, I reluctantly agreed. I was allowed to spend my first year undeclared to complete my general education requirements. I hoped that during this time, I'd find a major that both interested me and would meet my parents' approval. That year was tough. I took a mix of classes, trying to find my passion while also considering what my parents would accept. I joined the college newspaper and fell in love with writing. I took a creative writing class as an elective and found myself looking forward to it more than any other class. During the summer after my freshman year, my parents sat me down again. They said it was time to pick a major. With a mix of hope and fear, I admitted that my passion wasn't in the fields they wanted. I told them about how much I loved writing, how I had excelled in my creative writing class, and how I wanted to major in creative writing. The silence that followed was deafening. Then my dad laughed, thinking I was joking. When he realized I was serious, his face hardened. My mom looked disappointed. They both started listing reasons why this was a bad idea: no stable career, low earning potential, not a real job. I tried to argue my case. I talked about famous authors, about how writing could lead to various career paths like journalism or publishing. I even suggested double majoring in creative writing and something they approved of. But they wouldn't budge. My parents said, "These are the terms," and cut me off financially. They said I could continue with their support if I chose an acceptable major, but creative writing was out of the question. Patricia, who was home for the summer, sided with our parents. She called me ungrateful and accused me of trying to take advantage of our parents' generosity. I was devastated. I felt like my dreams were being crushed, but I couldn't bring myself to give in. So, I made the difficult decision to go it alone. I moved out of my parents' house and into a tiny apartment with 2 roommates. I took a full-time job as a waitress and reduced my course load to part-time. It was incredibly hard. I was working long hours, often late into the night, then trying to study and complete assignments. My grades suffered initially as I struggled to balance work and school. But I was determined to prove to myself and my family that I could do this. It took me 6 years to graduate, but I did it with a degree in creative writing. During this time, my relationship with my family became increasingly strained. They would often compare me to Patricia, who had graduated medical school and started her residency as a pediatrician. After graduation, I struggled to find a job in my field. I worked various odd jobs, barista, receptionist, retail, to make ends meet while trying to establish myself as a writer. I wrote whenever I could, submitting short stories to literary magazines and working on my novel during my lunch breaks and late into the night. During this time, I met Dustin, 34M, at a local writing workshop. He was an aspiring screenwriter working as a high school English teacher. We bonded over our love of storytelling and our struggles to break into the industry. Dustin was incredibly supportive of my writing dreams, always encouraging me to keep trying even when I felt like giving up. 3 years ago, I finally got my big break. A small publishing house picked up my first novel, a coming-of-age story that drew heavily from my own experiences. To my surprise and delight, it became a moderate success. The sales weren't astronomical, but they were enough for me to quit my day job and focus on writing full-time. Dustin proposed shortly after, on the night of my first book signing. We got married last year in a small ceremony. My parents and Patricia attended, but their congratulations felt forced. My mom made a comment about how I was finally settling down and hoped that marriage would bring some stability to my life. Throughout this time, my relationship with my parents and Patricia remained strained. They never approved of my career choice and often made snide comments about how I should have listened to them. Patricia, now a successful pediatrician, frequently bragged about her achievements and how she made the right choice. Last month, Dustin and I found out we're expecting our first child. We were over the moon. After years of focusing on our careers, we felt ready to start a family. We decided to share the news with both our families over dinner. Dustin's parents were overjoyed. They immediately started talking about nursery themes and offering to babysit. When we told my parents and Patricia, their reaction was lukewarm at best. My mom's first question was if we could afford to have a baby on a writer's salary. My dad suggested I should consider getting a real job now that I had a family to support. Patricia chimed in, saying she hoped the baby would inherit Dustin's practicality instead of my flighty nature. I was hurt by their reactions but tried to brush it off. I told myself they were just concerned about the baby's well-being. However, things came to a head last week when my parents called to discuss the baby shower. They offered to host it, which initially seemed like a peace offering. But then they started listing their conditions. They wanted to approve the guest list, choose the theme, and have a say in how we plan to raise the baby. They talked about the importance of a college fund, with terms, of course, and how we needed to start thinking about the baby's future career from day one. I was shocked. It felt like history repeating itself. I told them that Dustin and I would make decisions about our child. My mom said, "These are the terms if you want our help." It brought back painful memories of the college fund situation. I declined their offer and said we'd plan the shower ourselves. They seemed genuinely surprised by my refusal. My dad said I was being stubborn and short-sighted. My mom implied that I was denying my child opportunities out of spite. Patricia called me later that day, berating me for turning down our parents' generous offer. She said I was being stubborn and selfish, and that I should be grateful for any help I can get, especially with my unstable career. She went on about how she wished she was in a position to start a family, she's single and focused on her career, and how I was squandering the support she would love to have. I'm at a loss. I thought having a baby would bring my family closer, but it seems to have widened the rift. Dustin thinks we should distance ourselves from my family for the sake of our mental health and our future child. Part of me agrees, but another part still hopes for reconciliation. I can't help but wonder if I'm overreacting. Am I wrong for wanting to set boundaries with my family? Should I have accepted their help despite the conditions? I don't want to deprive my child of grandparents and an aunt, but I also don't want them to treat my child the way they've treated me. The stress of this situation is taking a toll on me, and I'm worried about how it might affect my pregnancy. I want to focus on the joy of becoming a mother, but instead, I'm constantly anxious about family drama. How do I navigate this situation while protecting myself, my marriage, and my unborn child? Update 1. It's been about a month since my last post, and I want to thank everyone for their supportive comments and advice. Your perspectives really helped me gain clarity on my situation. After a lot of discussion with Dustin, we decided to set firm boundaries with my family. We spent several evenings talking it through, weighing the pros and cons, and discussing how we want to raise our child. Dustin shared some of his own family history. His parents divorced when he was young, and he saw firsthand how important it is to have a united front as parents. We drafted an email together, carefully choosing our words. We explained that while we appreciate their concern, we are capable adults who can make our own decisions about our careers, finances, and how we raise our child. We made it clear that unsolicited advice and criticism would not be tolerated, and that our decisions regarding our child are not up for debate. Sending that email was one of the hardest things I've ever done. My hand shook as I hit the send button, and I spent the next few hours feeling alternately empowered and guilty. The response from my family was mixed, to say the least. My dad didn't reply at all, which is typical of him. He tends to retreat when faced with conflict. My mom sent a terse message saying she was disappointed in our decision but would try to respect it. Her message was full of passive-aggressive comments about how they only wanted what was best for us and the baby. Patricia, however, exploded. She called me, yelling about how I was tearing the family apart and that I would regret pushing them away when I needed help with the baby. She brought up every mistake I'd ever made, from my foolish decision to study creative writing to my unstable career choice. The call ended with her saying she wasn't sure she wanted a relationship with me if this was how I was going to behave. Despite the family drama, Dustin and I went ahead with planning our baby shower. We decided to have a small, intimate gathering with close friends and Dustin's family. Planning it was actually a joy. We chose a children's book theme, as a nod to our love of storytelling. The shower itself was lovely, filled with genuine joy and excitement for our baby. It was a stark contrast to the tension with my family, and it reinforced that we were making the right decision in setting boundaries. A week after the shower, I received a surprising call from my childhood best friend, Lily, 32F. We had drifted apart after high school, mainly due to attending different colleges and the demands of our lives. She had heard about the family drama from a mutual friend and wanted to check on me. During our conversation, Lily revealed something that shed new light on my family's behavior. Apparently, when we were in high school, my parents had approached Lily's parents with a similar college fund deal. Lily's parents, both teachers, had refused, saying it was manipulative and would put too much pressure on Lily. This led to a falling out between our families, which explained why Lily and I had drifted apart after high school. Learning this was like a missing puzzle piece falling into place. It made me realize that my parents' controlling behavior wasn't unique to me or even to their children. It was a pattern that extended to how they interacted with others as well. This information strengthened my resolve to maintain boundaries, not just for myself but for the sake of my child. On a happier note, my writing career has been going well. My publisher offered me a 2-book deal based on the outline for my next novel and the sales performance of my first book. This deal will provide some financial stability for our growing family, which is a relief. I've set up a writing schedule that I hope to maintain even after the baby arrives. Dustin has been incredibly supportive through all of this. He's even converting our guest room into a home office for me, complete with a comfortable armchair for when I need to write while nursing. His excitement about becoming a father is infectious, and it helps balance out the stress from my family situation. As my pregnancy progresses, we've been attending childbirth classes and preparing for the baby's arrival. It's bittersweet doing this without my family's involvement, but it's also liberating to make decisions without judgment or conditions. We're focusing on creating a positive, loving environment for our child. We've decided not to share any more pregnancy updates with my family. If they want to be involved, they'll need to reach out and show that they can respect our boundaries. Until then, we're focusing on the excitement of becoming parents and creating the kind of loving, supportive family we want our child to grow up in. The journey hasn't been easy, and I still have moments of doubt and sadness. But overall, I feel more at peace with our decisions. We're building a support network of friends in Dustin's family, and I'm learning that family isn't always about blood relations. As we prepare for our baby's arrival, I'm filled with a mix of emotions, excitement, nervousness, and a tinge of sadness that my family might not be as involved as I once hoped. But I'm also filled with determination to break the cycle and create a different kind of family environment for my child. Update 2. Another 2 months have passed, and I'm now well into my 3rd trimester. The baby is healthy and growing well, and we recently found out we're having a girl. Dustin and I are over the moon. We've started decorating the nursery in a woodland theme, with soft greens and purples. Dustin has been painting little animals on the walls. His hidden artistic talent has been a delightful surprise. We've had no contact with my parents or Patricia since my last update. The silence has been difficult, especially as the birth approaches. There are moments when I wish I could call my mom to ask for advice or share my excitement. But then I remember the conditions and judgment that would come with that interaction, and I know we're making the right choice for our mental health and our daughter's well-being. Interestingly, my conversation with Lily sparked a rekindling of our friendship. We've been meeting up regularly for coffee, decaf for me, of course, and it's been wonderful to reconnect. She's been a great support system, sharing her own experiences with her 2 kids and offering a listening ear when I need to vent about family issues. Lily even threw us a surprise baby sprinkle with our close friends. It was a small, intimate gathering, but it was incredibly touching. Our friends brought books to help build the baby's library, and we spent the afternoon sharing parenting stories and advice. It made me realize that while I might not have my biological family's support, I have a strong chosen family who care about us. On the career front, I've been making good progress on my new novel. The story is flowing well, and I've completed the first draft. My editor loves it, and we're aiming for a release date shortly after the baby is born. It's been challenging to balance writing with preparing for the baby, but it's also been a welcome distraction from family stress. Dustin has been amazing throughout all of this. He's taken on more household responsibilities to give me time to write and rest. He's also been my rock emotionally, always there to reassure me when I have moments of doubt or sadness about the situation with my family. Last week, we received an unexpected letter from my maternal grandmother, Nana, 85F. Nana lives in Florida and has always been a bit removed from our family dynamics. I've always been fond of her, but we don't see each other often due to the distance. In her letter, Nana expressed her disappointment in how my parents and Patricia have been treating me. She revealed that she had a similar experience with her own parents when she chose to become a teacher instead of following the family business of running a small grocery store. Her parents had disapproved, saying teaching wasn't a real career for a woman in those days. Nana encouraged me to stay true to myself and offered her unconditional support. She even enclosed a check as a gift for the baby, with no strings attached. She wrote that she hopes to visit once the baby is born and things have settled down. Nana's letter was incredibly comforting. It made me realize that while I may not have my parents' or sister's support, I'm not alone. I have Dustin, my friends, Dustin's family, and now Nana in my corner. It's a powerful reminder that family is about love and support, not control and conditions. We're now in full nesting mode, preparing for our daughter's arrival. We've been attending birthing classes, touring the hospital, and finalizing our birth plan. Despite the family drama, I'm feeling more confident and excited about this new chapter in our lives. As the due date approaches, I find myself reflecting on the journey that brought us here. While it hasn't been easy, I'm proud of the boundaries we've set and the family we're creating. I'm determined to break the cycle of conditional love and support that I grew up with. Our daughter will know that she is loved unconditionally and that her dreams are valid, no matter what path she chooses in life. Update 3. Our daughter, Zoe, was born 3 weeks ago, and our lives have changed in the most wonderful way. The birth went smoothly, and both Zoe and I are doing well. Dustin has been an incredible father and partner, taking paternity leave to help during these early weeks. The first few days were a whirlwind of sleepless nights, diaper changes, and figuring out breastfeeding. But every time I look at Zoe's tiny face, I'm filled with an overwhelming love I never knew was possible. Dustin and I are learning together, supporting each other through the challenges of new parenthood. 2 days after Zoe's birth, I received a text from Patricia. She had seen the birth announcement I posted on social media and congratulated us. Her message seemed genuinely warm, without any of the usual judgmental undertones. I was cautiously optimistic but also wary of getting my hopes up. A week later, Patricia called and asked if she could visit. After discussing it with Dustin, we agreed but set clear guidelines for the visit. To our surprise, Patricia arrived with a heartfelt apology. She admitted that seeing my success and happiness made her question the choices she had made in her own life. Patricia revealed that she had recently started therapy to work through some of her issues. She realized how unfairly she had treated me and how much of her behavior stemmed from her own insecurities and the pressure she felt to meet our parents' expectations. It was a raw, honest conversation that brought us both to tears. Patricia's visit went well. She respected our boundaries, genuinely seemed to enjoy spending time with Zoe, and even complimented my parenting. She asked about my writing and seemed sincerely interested when I told her about my upcoming book. It felt like a step towards rebuilding our relationship. As for our parents, we still haven't heard from them. Patricia mentioned that they're struggling to accept that their controlling behavior has pushed me away. She's encouraging them to seek family counseling, but it's a slow process. While part of me hopes they'll come around, I'm also at peace with the possibility that they might not. For now, we're focusing on our new life as parents. Balancing childcare and my writing career is challenging, but we're figuring it out day by day. I've set up a small writing nook in the nursery where I can work while Zoe naps. It's not always easy, but the joy of pursuing my passion while being there for my daughter is worth every struggle. Dustin has been my rock through all of this. He's taken to fatherhood with enthusiasm and patience. Watching him with Zoe, singing her silly songs and reading her stories, makes me fall in love with him all over again. Our relationship has only grown stronger through this experience. Nana is planning to visit next month, and we can't wait for her to meet Zoe. Her support has meant the world to us. Lily has been a frequent visitor, even babysitting so Dustin and I could have our first date night since Zoe's birth. Our friends have rallied around us, bringing meals, offering help, and showering Zoe with love. Looking back on this journey, I'm proud of the boundaries we've set and maintained. While the situation with my parents is still unresolved, I'm at peace with our decisions. Our priority is creating a loving, supportive environment for Zoe, free from manipulation and conditional love. As I watch Zoe grow and change every day, I'm reminded of why I fought so hard to follow my dreams. I want her to know that she can pursue her passions, whatever they may be, and that her parents will support her unconditionally. That's the legacy I want to leave for my daughter. The road hasn't been easy, and I'm sure there will be more challenges ahead. But as I sit here, writing this update with Zoe sleeping peacefully in her bassinet next to me, I know we've made the right choices. We're building the family we've always wanted, one based on love, respect, and support. To those who might be facing similar struggles with family expectations and conditional love, I want to say, stay true to yourself. It's not always easy, but it's worth it. You have the power to break cycles and create the life you want. Surround yourself with people who support and love you unconditionally. And remember, family isn't always about blood, sometimes it's about the people who stand by you when it matters most.